Welcome to This Week in Nerf, your source for first-party, third-party, and community Nerf news. I'm Adriana, and we are far from home, but the news doesn't stop, so neither will we. Here we go. In more Toy Fair news, Hasbro posted a photo of their Toy Fair booth on their official Nerf Instagram account, and then deleted it because it showed a blaster there hasn't been much press about. This could be the Elite Trilogy DS 15. If you check out the back of that blaster, what's there? Sledge-fire shells. 5 of them. Awesome. It's pump action, but besides that, I can't tell much more about what's going on. I'm just hoping that the shell holder in the back can hang on to them, because if that's just a basket, won't be running anywhere with that. 2 weeks ago, we saw a couple of photos from Buzzbee's booth at Nuremberg Toy Fair, but now that they've been to New York, we were able to gain much more insight than just a grainy photo. There's actually a really cool selection of new blasters coming from Busby this year, so let's get into that. The Metamorph, which might be renamed to Max Morpher, was the one that I was extra confused about when I saw the photos originally. Its gimmick is that it starts out as a top prime pistol, but you can pop out both the stock and the barrel to turn it into a Wild West looking pump action 10-shot revolving rifle. It's really neat that they found a way to make it prime in both configurations, and it can be yours soon for $18 from Walmart. The Agitator is a pump-action blaster, luckily with an extendable stock, and the barrel is removable, so it can be clipped to the top to act as a scope. Neat. It looks to have decent performance, which isn't that surprising from Busby. The much more interesting thing is the 30-round drum. I love that it's centered, and the rep made some really funny remarks about how their drum works really well and the competitors cut corners, so check out Buff Daddy's video around 1:17 if you want to have a giggle. Mostly it comes down to the fact that they use 2 springs instead of 1, so in theory you should get a stronger, more consistent feed than Nerf drums. Big downside though, the clear window faces your opponents. The Revolution was also shown, but I'm not going to talk about it too much, just because in essence it's a Retaliator style pistol. We see those all the time. It's nothing incredibly new or exciting, but it is likely to be a much more affordable option, so it's worth looking at when it's on the shelves. The Mutator is nothing new for our European viewers, but it will be coming to Target in the US. For those that aren't familiar with it, the Mutator is a bolt-action sniper with 2 magwells you can switch on the fly. I think that this is awesome just because of the practicality of having a mag ready, even when you're reloading. The Blow Blaster is going to be available at Dollar General, and I think it's a really interesting take on the blowgun. Load a dart, pump the take, and then a blow will activate the trigger. It's really neat to have a blowgun without the need to blow so hard, also in what I feel is a safer form factor. The box says to expect 100-foot ranges, so I'm really looking forward to having one in hand. A poorly named Nerf game type caused a ban of all Nerf play at Baldwin Wallace University after the local news ran a story on the game type President. Unfortunately for the school, the news channel decided to change the name to, which I won't even say here, to avoid trouble from YouTube bots. While I personally believe it's despicable that the news decided to twist the story in the way they did, this highlights the importance of language in our hobby. If the game had been named VIP or Bodyguards, this may never have happened. Regardless of your personal opinion on politics, we have to be aware of the climate we're living in now, at least in the US, and tailor our language accordingly. Facebook groups are being banned for too much use of the word gun. Police are being called because of kids yelling about bullets in the park. Language matters, and we need to be careful. On to lighter news, we have word from someone who thinks they know a few interesting tidbits about the rival Edge line that was mysteriously missing from Toy Fair. Let's go to Mr. Nathan's dog, Krager.
Especially after buying it in that sapper. Hey, now. What's upsetting you? Really? Oh my god. Yeah, boy. Shh. This is why you don't get to go out as often, because you act like this.
Ah, wise words from Krager. One quick note about West vs. Zombies. It has moved locations and dates due to environmental regulations and scheduling conflicts. If you had planned on going to the event, make sure you are aware of these updates on their Facebook page since it's now taking place in Utah. This week's mod of the week comes from Scrivmow5 on Instagram. This is the perfect combination of effort and jank. If you've seen our Uber Jolt, this takes it to a whole new level. It is a sliding brass breech to load darts, which is probably safer than sticking your fingers in the flywheels. The stock flywheel assembly has been MOSFETted, which is more effort than I would have put into something like this, and a battery compartment for a 2S battery has been lovingly crafted from a spare 6-clip. On our version, the rev switch was glued in the traditional placement, but I think I much prefer this version, which is glued to the trigger itself and should feel much more natural. Great work. I love it. Now's the time for Video of the Week. Normally we hate sound effects in Nerf War footage, but normally it's real steel. Just a Jolt shared some WvZ gameplay footage featuring Mario sounds. It's super lighthearted and there's a pretty sweet zombie kill streak. Impressive skills. We filmed this a day early because we're in the middle of travel and friends and wars, so if we missed anything important, we'll circle back to it next week. In the meantime, I am cold in this garage and tired because it's late, so I will see you next Sunday. Yeah?
You done?
Yeah. Bye.
Camera on action.
On action.